The ANC Women's League is unhappy with the fact that there are only 2 women serving as premiers in the country. Nokuthula Nqaba, the League's Secretary-General, has urged President Cyril Ramaphosa to appoint more women as he considers the new executive for the 7th administration. Similar to the ANC Youth League, Nqaba wishes to see more women represented in the provincial executive councils. To discuss this further, I'm now joined by Advocate Nthabiseng Sepanya-Mogale, who is the Chairperson for the Commission for Gender Equality. Good afternoon, Advocate. Thanks very much for your time. Really appreciate it. Are you concerned that the President may just, because of politics, of this government of national unity, kind of drop the ball when it comes to appointing women to his executive?
No, yes and no, in the sense that unfortunately this is not an outright win for any political party, although as we know, the African National Congress has got the majority. So there's going to be trade-offs. And with trade-offs, then you find that some of the imperatives, especially the constitutional imperatives of women and all of that, may be compromised. But again, it should not be the president who has the final say. The president will most probably request the members of the other political parties to submit names. Therefore, the responsibility is on them to make sure that from their ranks, they actually try as much as possible to respect gender and racial equalities for leadership.
It's difficult to read it, isn't it? Because one looks at Parliament, I mean, both houses. The National Assembly has the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker being women. The National Council of Provinces has its Chairperson as a woman. But you look at the premiers, there's only 2 premiers, across the country's 9 provinces.
Yeah, it's quite difficult, but we must also point out that for all the provinces where the ANC is leading, once again, they have actually gone out of their way to make sure that there's 50-50 parity. You know, your Free State, Limpopo, Northern Cape, all the ANC provinces. Even if you have a male premier, they have made sure that there is actually a 50-50, and in some instances, there's actually been a skew, like in Mpumalanga, where there's more women MECs than male MECs.
So going into the appointment and announcement of the executive, that gives you hope?
Yeah, it gives hope, but I think we should not end there as in the representation, but we should also ensure that it is the kind of leaders who are going to be listening and who are going to be pushing for the welfare of all South Africans, particularly women, because we are the most vulnerable in South Africa today, women and children. So even males have got that duty to make sure that all citizens of this country, particularly women and children, feel safer, are able to access health when they need it, are able to access social development and social support when they need it. Children are able to go to school. The school has got quality education, quality infrastructure, and a responsive government on the overall.
I'm looking at the ANC's partners in this a coalition arrangement, or government of national unity, as they prefer to call it. I'm looking at your Democratic Alliance, I'm looking at your IFP, who will be the most senior of the partners and therefore are in a prime position to secure positions in the executive, but also in the legislature, the national legislature, parliament, that is. Looking at those 2 parties in particular, do you think they are alive to that reality, that they need to go out of their way to ensure that there is a healthy women representation?
Unfortunately, they are not. I'm not privy to the statistics of the IFP in the past because they've always been at municipal level. But with the Democratic Alliance, it has been a disappointment because in their province, they have totally ignored the representation of women in their leadership structures, and they continue to do it now. In the Western Cape, we've got 7 males and only 3 females. Same as right now in KwaZulu-Natal under the IFP. So it actually is disheartening. And what is most disheartening is every time we want to hold political parties accountable, they tell us about the fact that they chase merit over any other, as though when you choose women, it is without merit. So that in itself, women have got to start claiming their stake in saying and expressing their voice. We cannot be told, no, we're choosing males because of merit. There are a lot of women in this country that we know who have got merit, have got qualifications to lead, and have led well. And contrary to the argument of merit, we have had situations where we've had male leaders who have never had experience go in, mess up their departments, become bad leaders, and continue to be called, and in some instances, even promoted to other positions. Whilst every time we say, bring on women, they're capable women, we get told we cannot find them, or whoa, we actually are focusing on merit.
Where do you think we're lacking in terms of agitating for this necessary change? Because the numbers are there. I mean, KwaZulu-Natal in particular fares worse than I think any other province when it comes to women representativity.
We're lacking a number of things. The first one is that women have always been talking around general public issues rather than women's issues. If you look at the campaigns now that have just ended for 2024, the issue of safety was one of the many. But because women are also looking at other things that are not necessarily gender related, however, have got a negative or a positive impact on gender, your housing, your health. But that then gets put as a general issue or a general benefit that everybody has got to benefit. Rightfully so. But women are actually 54%. We've got out of the 27.5 voters in South Africa in 2024 who had registered, we've got 15.3 or so being women. If you have a 54% or so of voters that you actually, every time we say include them, listen to them, hear their voice, respond to them, we say no. If we do that, it will not be a merit. Then we as women need to go back to the drawing board and see how we can wield our voting power so that women as a voting bloc start to be respected in South Africa.
Now, as a Chapter 9 institution, tasked with this responsibility, do you believe, or do you feel that you are being listened to? Do you feel that you're being heard in all conversations about gender equality?
Yes, we do. In fact, Vuyo, this 50-50 was a campaign agitated in 1994, 93, 94 by the Commission for Gender Equality. This is an absolute victory for us. But this is one of the many victories that we have secured lately. As you know, we have got your Compensation of Employees Act that has changed as a result of us. We have got the Domestic Violence Act that has changed. We were part of the people and institutions that were talking around those issues. There's so many issues. We are now looking at safety at schools of young girls. We're looking at the safety and non-discrimination that we want to secure for young pregnant teenage girls, because they bear the brunt when the other partner disappears into the night or actually continues with their education, and the girls are refused education back into the school. So there are a lot of innings that we have made. We're satisfied. We can do more. We will be doing more. But so far, we are able to push the boundaries.
Where can and how can we still improve, though?
Okay, one of the issues is health. Women still suffer at our hospitals. Women are still having babies on the floors of hospitals. Women still have to wake up at 4 to join the queue of a local clinic in a small area as small as in Botshabelo. Women have to go there and join the queue because of the poor management by duty bearers. Why I say poor management, it's not the long queues. It's the fact that at 11, the nursing sister in charge may, at their own whim, close the clinic and say, come back tomorrow. We're tired. Sorry, we've seen 100 people. So women are still being abused. Duty bearers are still not coming to the party and seeing themselves as servants. They see themselves as doing the public a favor. As I'm saying, children are still being deprived of going back to school after accouchement because they fell pregnant, whereas the young men, and sometimes even the abusive teacher who has made them fall pregnant, continues at that school and is protected at the school. So we're still in the receiving end of the discrimination. So a lot can still be done. When you look now, it's initiation season. Some of those young men who are going to come out of initiation and run amok in our communities. Women are going to be at the receiving end of it. The sexual violence that they meet out, the abuse of alcohol, and all the other challenges that come about as a result of them coming out of initiation school and wanting to show that they are men now. That irresponsibility that some people demonstrate is actually felt mostly by women. Unemployment, as you know, most of the children are actually, again, it's 54% coincidentally of households in South Africa are headed by women. So women are the ones who have to feed, clothe, bath, provide a shelter over the heads of children and sometimes even the father of the child. So it's still a lot still has to be done.